Can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey, darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Farm and Pastor's Wife. I am so glad you're here. You are in my kitchen down on the farm and I'm thrilled you're here with me. I'm wanting to do some cooking. I am going to cook up a Tuscan shrimp pasta dish. Now I have made this sauce with other seafood before and it is delicious, but tonight we're going to serve it on pasta. We're going to use this beautiful red Argentine shrimp. This is a pound of raw shrimp. It is red Argentine. Although it looks cooked, it is very much raw. It's been peeled, deveined, and tail off. About a pound here, so we're going to use that. But first, before we get started, I have a pot of water that we're going to go ahead and get on the stove and get it going and get it ready for the pasta. So let me get that started and I'll meet you back right here. So the first thing I want to do while my water is coming to a boil, I need to find the spaghetti noodles. I'm going to use spaghetti. I don't think I have linguine, but I need to make sure I have some spaghetti noodles. But we're going to make a seasoning for this shrimp. So I'm going in with a teaspoon of garlic powder. We're going to add a teaspoon of black pepper, and this is all going into like a little dish here. And a teaspoon of salt. So equal parts salt, pepper, garlic. And I'm going to give that a little stir. And with my fingers, I'm just going to use my fingers and we're going to sprinkle this on our shrimp. And I would normally go ahead and get this to cooking, and I'm going to kind of stir it around just so it's all nice and coated. I would normally get this to cooking, but I don't like to walk away from my shrimp. I like to stick right there with it because I don't want to overcook it, but I want to be sure it gets done. So, okay, let me get our vegetables, wash my hands, and we'll start preparing the other things that go in the sauce. All right, so here I have some green onions that I've washed and I've cut the kind of, you know how the tips get a little wilty looking. I've cut those tips off and I'm just going to chop through this, get it down to the white. And we need, give or take, 1/4 cup. I usually am generous with the green onions just because I love the flavor. So we can save these little ends and root them if we want to, but I'm going to set them aside. I'm going to grab a bowl to put this in. And we'll start working on the messy stuff. That's definitely probably more than 1/4 cup, but that's fine with me. But generally speaking, 1/4 cup is the requested amount. So I'm going to drain some of this oil. These are sun-dried tomatoes. They are julienne cut, which means they're supposed to be in strips. They don't ever look like strips. But we're gonna, I'm going to drain some of this oil off because I really just want the tomatoes. However, you could keep this oil. In fact, we may keep the oil and use it to add to the butter to fry the shrimp in. In fact, that's what I am going to do. All right, so I'm going to use a little bit of that oil, but I'm not going to use all of it. I'm going to use some olive oil and some butter. And this needs to be about a third of a cup. Third of a cup of sun-dried tomatoes. And we're going to kind of chop these up a little bit. And with them being julienne and soaked in oil, it makes it hard. It sometimes can make it a little dangerous. So be super careful because your knife can slip. I find that the best way is just for me, instead of trying to hold them and with my fingers and definitely get a perfect chop, that it's just better for me to go into it like this and just cut the best way I can, pulling it back together and then chopping some more. We're basically just rough chopping. You'll have some big pieces, you'll have some little pieces. It's okay. It's gonna be delicious, delicious, delicious. All right, so let me get washed up, get this off my fingers, and we will meet at the stove to get the shrimp going and cooking. All right, so moving over here to the stove, we're going to turn our burner on, and I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of salted butter in here. The butter is for the flavor. I'm going to go in, normally I would go in with about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, but since I saved some of that sun-dried tomato oil, I'm only going to go in with about a tablespoon of the olive oil. Now let me explain why you want to do the olive oil and the butter. The butter, and of course this sun-dried oil, and I'm just going to put a little bit in here, is for definite flavor. The olive oil, it raises the smoke point, which means the butter won't burn quite as easily as it would if it was just butter. And then you would have brown butter, which would be delicious, but we want to keep it, the smoke point fairly low right now. So as soon as this gets hot, we're going to put, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and put it in now. And we are going to get this shrimp cooking. I have another plate sitting over here to put this this cooked shrimp on. And I always like to check my shrimp to see if I see a shell. And I did check it, but I missed one. So we're just going to let this shrimp cook right here in here, and I'll meet you back as soon as it's finished cooking it. You cook it to the desired doneness that you like. You don't want to overcook shrimp because they say it gets too rubbery. However, I have to know that mine is good and done if I'm going to eat it. So I'll meet you back here in just a second. Okay, everyone, I've turned the burner down a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and just scoop out this shrimp. Oh, it is so, I just cannot hardly wait. And if by chance you're a little bit concerned that you may not have gotten it all the way done, it's okay, because you're going to actually put it back in the cream sauce, and it can cook a little bit longer. But this is beautifully cooked, beautifully done. So good. All right. So I did turn my burner down just a little bit. And we are going to go ahead to this, add in some garlic. That's about a tablespoon of minced garlic. We're going to grab our green onions, and we're going to just kind of give them a little saute up. And we might as well go ahead and add in our sun-dried tomatoes. We're just going to let all of this go together and saute up for just a minute. That smell. Let me move this. The steam from this is getting in my way. I decided not to put the noodles in quite yet. Oh my goodness. It smells so good. Smells so good. All right, so this is a cream sauce, so we've got to add some cream, which I have a cup already measured out, but I also have the container still out, just in case we need a little more. So let me grab the seasoning mix that we seasoned the shrimp with originally. I'm going to bring it over here, get some Parmesan cheese, and I'll meet you right back in just a second. Okay, so in here we have the garlic, we have the sun-dried tomatoes, the green onions, and I've got the oven turned down, the stovetop turned down, and I'm going to add in a cup of cream. And I sometimes like to add a little extra. In fact, I'm going to add about another half a cup. And I'm just going to eyeball it. Now let's just finish out the container. That was probably a cup and a half total that we just added. So I want to get my seasoning mix that I still didn't bring over here. We're going to give it a little sprinkle of the seasoning mix. That was our garlic, our pepper, and our salt. And to this cream sauce, we're going to add in some Parmesan cheese. Now, if you have fresh Parmesan, that would be wonderful, but we don't. So, and I'm just going to put the rest of this container. This is about 1/3 of a cup. And listen, there's no shame if you use the green box, the green tub. There's no shame in that. So I just happen to have this from, I believe it came from Costco or Sam's one. But definitely you can use the green top stuff. It's totally fine. In fact, since I used everything I have, if I needed more, I'll go to the cabinet and look for it there. So I am just going to cook this until it melts completely. Then we have one more thing to add before we add the shrimp back in. So we're just going to kind of let this thicken a little bit. And my cream is deglazing the pan as I stir too. So it actually did that when I poured it in. Oh, it's beautiful. It smells delicious. And boy, does it taste delicious. Okay, so, oh, did you see that string of Parmesan? Okay, one more thing to add. Now, it's up to you if you chop your spinach or not, but this is baby spinach that I have, and I'm going to put in a couple of handfuls, and I'm going to stir that around. I don't worry about chopping it because it's going to wilt down and get teeny tiny anyway, so I don't worry about making it wilt. I mean, chopping it, because it is going to wilt, and I don't have to worry about getting it in small pieces. But some people may not like the stems. You may want to chop it. That's totally fine. Totally fine. I have more heavy cream if we feel like we need more heavy cream. But what I need to do now is to get my pasta going, because the sauce is just about complete. So let me get that going, and I'll meet you back right here when we put the shrimp back in. So our cream sauce is basically done. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to slide this beautiful shrimp right down in that cream sauce and let that sit in there and get all delicious. and good and wonderful and, you know, all the good stuff. Oh, I can hardly wait. This is so decadent. This is so easy, but yet fancy. Like, you could impress a lot of people with this meal. So we are just gonna let this hang out while we wait for our pasta. I wanted to give Bryant a little chance to get home before I stuck the pasta in there. And because he is at the church doing some ministry work, so he'll be home shortly. And we're gonna have this delicious, delicious meal. So let's talk about pasta. I would normally like an angel hair with this, or a linguine. I have spaghetti noodles tonight, but I never know. I am terrible at knowing how to measure out servings. And, you know, I just don't know. I can never guess right, because sometimes I think, oh, I need this huge amount, and then we only eat this amount. So I can't really advise you on how to measure out your spaghetti and how to know. I know there's a formula for it, but it never works out for me and my family. It never works out. So I'm gonna measure with my hand and with my heart when I put the spaghetti in the water. So I'm gonna just cut the sauce and the shrimp off and let it hang out there and do its thing. When this comes up to a boil, I'll add some salt to the water. You always want to salt your water, because that's the only chance you're going to get salt into that pasta and to flavor it. So now you got the flavor of the sauce going on it, but to actually get it into the pasta, this is your chance. So you want to salt your water as soon as it comes to a boil, get your pasta in. And I like an al dente, which is the pasta has a firmness to it. That's the way we prefer our pasta here. And so I cook it at the very, you know, it'll say 9 to 11 minutes or whatever it says. I always stop at the very first mark. If it says 9 to 11, I only go 9 minutes and not a second past that. So I'm gonna clean up here, get some things in the sink, and I'll meet you back in just a second. Water is boiling. So we're gonna add a couple of teaspoons of salt there. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going in with just a handful. I don't know, that may be too much and it may not be enough, but we have the rest of the pack. If we need to cook more, we can. So guess what, everybody? I don't think I did enough spaghetti, but that's okay. I'm not gonna eat a whole lot, and so we'll give Bryant most of the spaghetti. All I'm interested in is that shrimp. So we're gonna serve up a bowl, well, kind of a plate bowl, and fix him a plate. Let's see, let me get a little more. He's been working hard on the farm, so I know he is famished and hungry, and I know that he's gonna love this, because who wouldn't? I mean, right? So we are just gonna dip up some of this beautiful shrimp and sauce, and we're just gonna cover it over that spaghetti. Now, when I've done this with other seafood, I've served it over wild rice, and that is so good. I just thought with the shrimp that the spaghetti noodles would work really good. So, okay, I'm gonna fix me a plate. Here is his. I'm gonna fix me a plate, and we'll meet you at the bar where we're gonna eat tonight. Okay, everyone, we are sitting down ready to try this delicious shrimp dish.
It looks delicious. The color looks great. You got some green, some reds. Looks really, really good.
Okay, we've already said the blessing, so we're gonna give it a try.
Let's dig in. Here we go. Really good.
It is so good.
That is restaurant good right there.
Yes, it is. Restaurant good.
So the flavor's good, good and rich, good and creamy. You get some or some bacon in there. What else in there, Mom?
No bacon, but that would be delicious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see sun-dried tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Shrimp.
Spinach, green onions,
Green onions.
garlic,
Yep.
Parmesan, heavy cream.
Really, really good.
Super easy, super simple, but yet very impressive. It is delicious. And your idea of bacon bits would be absolutely wonderful.
Could sprinkle some on top.
Fry you up a piece of bacon, crumble it up on top. That would be amazing.
Yep.
That would be so good. What I would serve with this, as you can tell, we're not eating anything with it, but a nice green salad.
And some bread.
Crusty bread.
Yep.
Excuse me. Yeah, a good old piece of crusty bread would be delicious with it. So, all right. Well, we are going to go and enjoy this while we finish eating our supper. Why don't you go take a look at the cows with us? We're going on a cow check. So just enjoy some footage of our cows while we eat our supper, and then we'll come back and tell you goodbye. They just came to the fence and was waiting. They're like, yes, fresh grass.
Come on, girls! It's probably about 29 mama cows in this herd, I think.
And Big Daddy right there. You can see Big Daddy coming right there.
Woo! Cows, moo!
Look, she answers. All right, we moved over to another area so they could come on through.
They coming slowly.
Look at the little baby.
Woo! Cows, moo! Blue's excited.
Yeah, Blue's vocal. They're still a coming. There's a bunch on the other side of the pasture fence. She wanted to sing for you guys.
What's she singing?
I don't know. She's doing a solo. Oh, she just got camera shy on us.
Imagine that.
I believe she's expecting.
Several of them are.
One of our favorite afternoon date trips is to check the cows. And we need to get up to the other end and shut the gate.
It's okay. Whoa, girls! No!
She's very expecting right there.
Tell them what the terminology is when they're very expecting.
They're very pregnant.
Heavy bread.
Heavy bread, yeah, that's okay. Heavy bread. Do you see our new ones? Or are they at the other farm?
The newest one's at the other farm.
Oh, okay.
But there's still several calves here. There's probably 20 calves over here.
I meant the new cows that we just bought.
Oh, they're in the other pasture.
They're in the other, okay. Well, everyone, that footage of the cattle was back a while, actually, and it was some footage I had on here that I wasn't sure if I had shared with you guys or not, so I've added it in here. But recently when we've been to check the cows, when we just didn't have our phones with us, or we didn't think to video. So I wanted to get this video out with you and not wait till we check the cows tonight. So I just put in some older footage, or, you know, back a while footage of the cattle, and hopefully we'll get some more footage soon. So anyway, but let me tell you, that dish was absolutely wonderful. Now, you know, I've done that with salmon before and served it with like long grain wild rice, and it is delicious that way. I decided to do pasta with the shrimp, and it was amazing. Now, I have a little disclaimer. I did cut up my noodles before we sat down to eat, because I didn't want to be like slurping up noodles and slapping that sauce all over my face. So I did cut up my noodles before I filmed the taste test. But anyway, I really think you could do this with chicken and it would be wonderful. But so far, with the 2 ways I fixed it, I absolutely love this sauce. It is wonderful. So it's a must try. So anyway, I have got an appointment this morning. I have lunch with a friend, and I need to go open up the nursery and water the plants. So it is a busy day. So I'm just going to get off here. I'm going to get this video edited and uploaded and out to you guys. And I want to say thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your sweet, kind words of encouragement. And I really appreciate you guys so very much. So, all right, I'm going to say goodbye and head out of here. Remember, if the grease is hot enough, you can fry anything. Bye, y'all.